Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Life with Nana. I'm Nana, and I'm so glad you're here today. Today, we're going to be making a Polish sausage or kielbasa soup. It's a little chilly here in North Alabama, and we're going to be making some cornbread, and we're going to be making a little cake to go along with everything. But first, I have to show you what Papa did. Look what Papa did. He went to the store for me this morning and he came back with these beautiful flowers. Aren't these pretty? I love it. I always love getting flowers for no reason, for just because, just because you're the one I love, and I love that. Of course, I think, getting flowers anytime is wonderful, but Papa is really good at just bringing them to me, you know, every now and then, and it makes them even more special. The first of the year, I said I wanted to stop wasting food. I wanted to stop buying things that um, I can make at home. So you're going to see some things in this video, and as we go along, I will share. Uh, I'm not saying for you to not do it. I'm just saying this is my goal for the year. Things like muffin mixes and cake mixes and things like that, which I do have quite a few in my food stores, so you're going to be seeing me use them up because I'm not going to waste the food. But what I really like is trying to learn how to do it from scratch. And I've seen a lot recently of people mixing things up and putting them in jars. And I think that's a great idea. And it gives you the same kind of convenience like a box cake mix would give you, or a box of brownie mix would give you. Just take a day, make up 4, 5, 6, whatever you want to do. And that'd be a great thing to do. And we might do that one day. But the first thing I'm going to do is to get my cornbread in the oven, because I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees. And I had this bowl set out for a different use, but that's okay. So I have 2.5 cups of self-rising white lily flour. And so I am going to use 2 eggs. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I use 1, sometimes I use 2. I tell you though, at the price of eggs, I probably should have just used 1. So we're going to pour that in there. I'm going to take my little whisk here, and I'm going to mix that around just a little bit. Get those yolks broke up. And then I'm going to add to this, that's probably about a 1/2 cup of milk. And we're just going to make this into a nice pourable batter. We want this to be, I'm going to add just a little bit more, about another 1/4 of a cup here. If you look back at some of my other videos where you see me making cornbread, you will find the recipe. If I think of it, I will put it in the show notes, but sometimes Nana forgets. So we'll put a little bit more milk. So we're probably up to almost a cup of milk. You can always add more. And it's hot. It's been in the oven. And I have a little bit of the oil in there. So I'm going to pour that in here just because I don't want my batter sitting in that oil. I'm just going to mix this up. This is so simple, guys. Do you know what? This is one of those things that I think every home cook should know how to do. Making cornbread, making biscuits, being able to make a cake from scratch, different things like that. We should all know how to do those things because, listen, the way the food chain is right now and all that, you just have to be prepared. All right, so I made this relatively thin because Papa likes thin cornbread. So we're going to make it the way he likes it. Made a little bit of a mess there. And we're going to put this in the 400-degree oven for about 25 minutes. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is to chop up our cabbage. Now, again, I don't want to waste food. And so you may look at this partial head of cabbage and go, gross, throw that away. As a matter of fact, Papa did say that. But I said, no, it's got some dark right here, but I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to cut that right off. It's not going to be a big deal. I'm not going to waste a half a head of cabbage when the rest of it is still super good. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half. And we're going to cut this side off. That's going in. You can put it in your compost pile. If you have chickens, they would love to get it. I don't have a compost pile completely set up, so today I'm just gonna get rid of that. All right, so we want these cut up in relatively small pieces, and it's gonna take. I have another head of cabbage here. That's what Papa went to the store after, and so I'm going to use both of them. So we're just going to cut this into relatively small pieces, but you can cut it into whatever size that your family likes and would eat. That's one good thing about soups and stews and things like that is you can adapt it to what you like and what your family will eat. Cabbage is going to wilt down, so I'm not worried about this being, it looks like a lot. It's going to look like a lot, but it'll wilt down. It will wilt down as we cook it. We're going to cut the stem part off so I have a flat surface to work with. Then I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm going to cut the core out. Now I'm just going to quarter these. And then cut them in an eighth. And we're going to cut them into hopefully bite-sized pieces. Now we're going to get this cut up, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up our Polish sausage, and then we're going to brown that in the skillet, and I'll take you over there when we do that, and then we'll be adding all of our other ingredients, and then we're going to turn this down on low and just let it cook for a while. And while it's cooking, we will make our little cake that we're going to make. Now I know I shouldn't be cutting this up on this same board, but it's going to be okay because I'm going to sterilize this. All of my cutting boards need to be sterilized and re-oiled, so that's something that I'm going to try to get done today. And I'm going to cut this on the diagonal like that, about so thin. And that'll give me a little more surface room to brown. And we're going to brown these up in our skillet back there, or in our pot back there. And then we'll add our other ingredients. And we'll just let it cook. I noticed that the refrigerator door was open. So you might have heard some vaping in the background. Sorry about that. As you know, Nana can't hear that well. So things like the refrigerator door being open, or the alarms on the stove or microwave, even the smoke alarm, I don't hear that at all. So I apologize if it was baking you. I promise you I didn't do it on purpose. But let's get this going. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn our eye up pretty high. We're going to put a couple of tablespoons of oil, and I may need some more. Let's just get probably another 2 tablespoons in here. So that'll be a total of 4. Now we're going to put our Polish sausage in here. We're going to try to get it at 1 layer so that as it browns, it'll be nice and wonderful. Now, normally I do make my own homemade broth. But as I said, I found a good deal on some bouillon. And so that's what we're using today. I'm going to turn this on up a little bit higher. Let's get it going. Then we can turn it back down. Might need to check my cornbread. That looks like it's going. It's doing really well. It looks like that's really getting some good sizzle on it. The pan's getting good and warm. Yeah, this is done. Look how beautiful that looks. Mmm, so good. So we're going to set it over here. Let that be cooling, and we'll get it on a plate. Ooh, that was hot. All right, now we're getting some color. That's what we're looking for. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my onions. I'm going to add my salt. This is about a half a tablespoon of salt. Remember, it looks like a lot, but remember we have a lot of veggies going in here. Keep this stirred around, and we're going to let our onions caramelize a little bit so that they will be nice and soft and kind of translucent, and then we'll add some of our other ingredients. It smells so wonderful in here. I love the smell of the onions cooking with this sausage. It just smells so good. The cornbread smells good, and I'm really looking forward to this. This is a nice comfort meal, and you know, I lost my best friend this week. I'm not gonna cry. But yeah, we've known each other for 30 years, and our children grew up together, and we've known each other all that time. And she found out 52 days ago that she had colorectal cancer. She had 1 treatment and passed away. And so her funeral was this last week. Now, by the time you see this, this will be on in the future, but I'm just kind of telling you what's going on right now in my life. You may not want to hear it, but um, my nephew passed away, and although I haven't seen him in a long time, I remember him as a little boy, probably 7 or 8, and being so sweet and so um, I don't know, just he was just a sweet little boy, and um, so we had that kind of in the back of our minds. We didn't get to go to the memorial service, uh, but yeah, it's hard. Um, all right, so I have some frozen corn, and I'm going to go ahead and add that, so that'll be getting heated up. It doesn't really need to be cooked too much. So we're going to go ahead and add that up, so it'll keep it'll warm up and get everything else going. I like the corn in there. It looks really pretty. I'm going to go ahead and open my potatoes. And I'm not going to put them in yet. But I have this little handy dandy device. And this one is an antique. And it's called Pryolid. But if you go to um, 4 Jars, and this is their logo. Again, I'm not affiliated with them or anything. But I do love their lids. They are remaking this. So I love that. So I'm going to set these back here for now. I'm going to go ahead and add some garlic powder and some onion powder. Even though we have the onions in there, that's going to give this really good flavor. And then I've got a little bit of black pepper. I'll put that in there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I have 3 shredded carrots here. I'm going to put that in there. And I shredded them because we don't like big chunks of vegetable in our soup. We're going to, especially carrots. To me, carrots tend to get a little mushy, and I'm not a fan. So this is the way we're going to do it. If you like to cut them in rounds so they look pretty, feel free to do that. And I'm going to give this broth a stir. As I said, normally I would use my own homemade broth, uh, but I'm out. That's something else that I need to can. Chicken broth or stock, beef stock, potatoes, chicken. Those are all things that I need to be getting on our shelf for summertime because we'll be outside a lot during the summer. So I'm going to pour some of this broth in here. All right. And then I'm going to pour our potatoes in and let them get to heating up. Okay. I'm going to turn this back up on high because I want to get this going. Um, and then we're going to start adding our cabbage in a little along. Give me a little taste of this broth and see how it's tasting. Mm, that is so good. That is so, so good. Okay. I'm going to start adding this. As soon as this kind of comes up to a boil, everything else in here, except for the carrots, they're probably not completely done, but it won't take them long, them being shredded. Everything else is done. Um, so what we'll do is once the cabbage goes in, we'll turn this down on low, and we will put the lid on it, and we will just let it cook until everything marries together, gets all good and yummy, get all that yumminess together. This is going to be so delicious over that cornbread. Works. All right, this is coming up to a boil, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. And I'm going to start adding my cabbage in. Doesn't this look wonderful? Give it a stir. That cabbage down in there. We want the cabbage to wilt and get delicious. I have cabbage going everywhere. Y'all know Nana. She's a messy cook. It's okay. And that was 8 cups of broth that I put in here. If you have a bigger family, you might want to use more. This is going to last me and Papa for several days. Plus, we will be taking some to his mom and, you know, maybe some other folks that we know. And I like to keep uh, things in the freezer, like chicken soup or chicken and dumplings or something like that, in case somebody is sick. Like when my friend was sick, um, I had some stuff to take her. She really couldn't eat a lot, but it made me feel better knowing she had things there. And she had 4 boys. I mean, they were taking care of her, of course, but uh, just as a friend. All right. Now, I know this looks like a lot of cabbage, and it may be a little bit much, but this is gonna wilt down. I'm gonna put my lid on it. Don't that look nice? Perfect. All right. So here's what I have. I have 1 box of Jiffy raspberry muffin mix, and I have 2 packs of chocolate chip muffin mix, Martha White. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all these together, and I'm going to make a single layer cake, and we're going to put a crumble topping on it and some cream cheese uh, drizzle over the top of that with a little bit more chocolate chips, because more chocolate is better. Isn't that right? Okay, so let's see what we've got here. I'm looking for my scissors. I just had them. I'll probably pick them up and put them in the dishwasher. All right, so this smells really good. Got a lot of raspberry smell to it. Again, these were things that were, this one was actually given to me by my friend Joyce. And she had found it on sale. These two I found on sale. And I thought, well, we'll have those for something, you know. These have quite a few chocolate chips. I'm not going to add any at this point, but I am going to kind of just get the raspberry and the chocolate chip together. I think that's going to be such a neat flavor together. I cannot seem to do anything today without pouring it in the floor or pouring it on the counter. Clumsy, clumsy Nana. Okay, so this one, the raspberry one, it says 1 egg and 1/4 cup of milk. And then these say a 1/2 cup. So we're going to need 1 1/4 cups of milk and 1 egg. That's how we're going to go about doing this. And we'll look at it and adjust. If it seems like it needs more of something, we'll do that. Get us 1 cup of milk, and we're going to need a 1/4 on top of that. But let's get this in here first. I want to make sure that egg is really beaten well. And I'm going to pour my milk in right over that egg. And I'll take my little whisk and I'm just going to keep pulling this from the sides. I'll add the rest of that 1 cup. We'll see if we need the other 1/4. I have a feeling we will. Because you're looking for a regular cake batter here. Alright, so let's give it just a little bit more. 1 more 1/4 of a cup. With it. Okay. I think we've got that pretty well. Now we're going to pour this into our pan. You want it about 3/4 of the way. We're just going to go for it. I made a mess. Let's get that up. I think that's going to be really good. All right, I have a lined baking sheet. I just lined it with aluminum foil. And I'm going to set my cake in the middle of this. Now, the box and bag say to cook it at 350. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep a close eye on it. I'm expecting this to take at least 20 to 25 minutes in my oven. You'll have to kind of, check your oven and kind of play around with it a little bit. Well, here's what the cake looked like when it came out of the oven. It looks great. I set it on this pan and took it outside on the back porch and let it cool down really well. And now we're going to make the crumb topping to go with it. So the crumb topping is a 1/2 cup of sugar. And I have 3 tablespoons of flour. I'm going to stir those together. And then softened butter. 3 tablespoons. Then we're just going to take our fork and we're just going to keep mashing this together. Until it makes kind of a crumble. Okay. We're just going to put this, just kind of crumble it over the top. Of course, it's going to go everywhere. That's all right. My cake is still just a tad bit warm, so I'm hoping that it'll melt just that butter just a little enough to make it stick to the top of this. But if it doesn't, we'll just let it be. What I'm going to do is just kind of keep putting it around so that this will be around the bottom. And it will be really nice and pretty. I have a few chocolate chips here. Some of them are semi-sweet, some of them are milk chocolate, and some of them are just the white chocolate ones. And we're going to add those to the top. And again, if the cake was hot, these would probably melt and it would probably be better, but we're not going to worry about it. All right. There we go. Now, in here I have some cream cheese, about a quarter of a block, and about a fourth of a cup of powdered sugar, and some Watkins real vanilla with the beans, vanilla bean paste. And we're just going to kind of put this over it, and it's going to make it really pretty. And it's going to help hold that sugar on. So I have my containers here to take to my sweet mother-in-law. And the first thing I'm going to do is get her a piece of cornbread. See if it'll fit in there. And go ahead and get one more piece. And I don't think it'll fit. That'll give her a little extra. And I bought these at Sam's Club. And I really do enjoy having these around because I can do things like this and really, take her something that's nice, and hopefully she will enjoy it. And so it'll be fun, I enjoy doing that. All right, so I'm not sure how well this is going to cut since we just put it together, but we're going to go for it. And oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. That is gorgeous. I'm very pleased with the way that turned out. I'm going to sneak a little bite off the corner here. Mmm. That is really good. You can really taste, I feel like I have that all over me. You can really taste the raspberry flavor, and then the chocolate chips. Fabulous. That's so good. It's going to kind of squish that down, but that'll be all right. All right, so I have a container here. This is a quart container. I have my stove off. My oven is off. All right. Let's get me just a little bowl. And I did have Papa come in and look. I have me a little bowl here, and it has some cornbread in there. And it has a little bit of everything that is in the pot. Now, Papa did come back in while we were taking a break, and he said, I think it needs more Polish sausage. So we did add another pack of Polish sausage. So this recipe has 2 packs of the Polish sausage. And nothing wrong with that, is there? It's going to make it good. This is so hot, y'all. Mmm. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. If I do say so, that is good. Mmm. Okay. That is fantastic. That is definitely something that I will make again. I love that. Feels old timey. Nana loves you. Nana's so proud of you. If you're dealing with grief or depression uh, or anything like that, anything that the world has to throw at you, uh, don't hesitate to reach out to someone. We all need help from time to time. I know I do every now and then. And I just want you to know that I love you all. I'm so proud of you all. And um, I would appreciate a thumbs up. I would appreciate it if you're not subscribed, if you would please subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll get notified every time I upload a new video. And you always have a friend here. Nana loves you. I'll see you on the next one.